I'm John Hayden, and let's queer up trans rights. Trans woman Bree Black, or Nook to her friends, was just 27 years old when she was gunned down at a street party 6 years ago in Pompano Beach, Florida. Now, detectives say they know who the killer is, and justice is just one witness away. It was a hot summer night on a holiday weekend in the middle of quarantine. But hundreds packed this street, ignoring social distancing, to have a good time. But when shots rang out, nobody saw anything. A new sign sits next to a weathered memorial for Bree Nook Black, a trans black woman who was only 27 when she was running and screaming for her life at these apartments, only to be gunned down moments later. Now, after 6 years, justice may be on the horizon.
At this point in the investigation, we can announce that there is
Detectives from BSO's Cold Case Unit returned to the scene of the crime, asking anyone who may have been afraid to speak up now, and that it's safe.
So we do believe, it being 4th of July weekend, that people witnessed the shooting. Perhaps they were afraid to come forward before because of the reputation of the person of interest. We can tell you that that fear should no longer be in place.
The name of the person of interest and video from the party aren't being released to protect the integrity of the investigation. But Janino says the man is in prison and will be for a long time.
Now, Bree was known as Nook, as we all know her, transgender, of course, but we still love her and the family. And this is something to say, look, we care about those that was here in Pompano and something happened to them. We care about them, and the family, of course, is still grieving. So we're just here to get someone to talk. Say what you know. Talk. Call BSO.
Investigators say Bree knew her killer, that they were in a fight just days before the attack, they weren't romantically involved, and her being trans didn't play a part. But remember that memorial? The banner dead names Bree, but her niece says she was loved by her family and hopes for closure.
What has life been like without Bree?
So here we are 6 years later. Maybe people remember something. Maybe people feel safer about saying something. Broward County is always looking for more tips to help close this cold case. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers in Broward County at 954-493-TIPS. In Pompano Beach, I'm John Hayden. You know, I hate that my mic was going in and out. You couldn't really hear a lot of that. The niece, who is still young herself, didn't get to grow up with Nook. But the great part is that BSO, Broward Sheriff's Office, did not give up on this. 6 years later, I mean, this case went cold a long time ago, and they were still working. The person who they believe did it is sitting in a Florida prison, has a long history of violent crimes in Broward County, Florida, where Pompano Beach is, and that anybody who was worried that they might be reprisals coming in the neighborhood don't need to worry about it, because he's going away for a long time. So, why bother? Why bother with this? He's gone away because it's about getting justice for our community. And whether that he killed her because she was trans or not, the fact is trans people are at a higher risk.
At a very high risk.
At a very high risk.
And black and brown trans women are number one.
Yeah.
Okay. So every single year, the three of us go to Trans Day of Visibility, and we go to Trans Day of Remembrance. And Trans Day of Remembrance is tears. Okay. You know, when they say the names of mostly black and brown women murdered, right, in the years past, and everybody stands with a picture of each of the fallen folks, you know, and it's heart-wrenching. And the reason I mention that is because most of the time, 99% of those people, justice is never served, and they're forgotten. And the next year, we got more girls that we have to save. So we stopped mentioning those names, right? And BSO didn't stop thinking about Bree, right? Even if her own family dead named her, which I think is awful, okay? They didn't stop. And it didn't matter to them that she was black and trans. Okay, to them it was let's get justice for someone who was murdered, and they they could still be with us today if that hadn't happened that way. 4th of July weekend, there was a lot of people out there. Someone might have seen something, and like John said, this person that like maybe would have sent a target on your back, or maybe you felt that way, can't touch you anymore. How wonderful is that? So let's tack this on him if he did do this, and have her rest in peace.
Yeah.
Thank you for the story,
Give
John.
some justice to her family. You're very welcome. Thank you, Faye.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.